Hi everyone. So I want to talk today about how personal development is so much more than rah-rah. Don't you think? It has to be, otherwise it's not really personal development, otherwise it's not really working, and otherwise it's a waste of your time and money. So I see this happen a lot, so I just thought it'd be a good time to talk about it and how you can actually make personal development actually work for you, for your goals, towards your dreams, all that kind of stuff. So let's start with reading and attending conferences and listening to audiobooks and I don't know, paying for something that then you are intending to absorb, knowledge, skills, whatever. Maybe it's a course. First of all, I think it's really important that you put yourself in an ideal learning state or expanded awareness. This is something that you can do, before you read, before you listen to a book, even before you go on a walk to listen to a book. I find that such a great way to absorb audiobooks, and you can rewind and listen to something over and over again. Listening, audible isn't my, or auditory learning isn't my best learning state. So make sure you understand how you best learn. I learn from visual, closely followed by kinesthetic, so actually doing things. So that's why video really works for me, because I get to hear it, see it, and I can be following along at the same time. So love YouTube, love IGTV. Let me know what learning style you are below. So essentially get yourself in expanded awareness by looking at a spot on the wall above you and stare at it for like a minute, and then without moving your eyes to the side, because that would be an amazing party trick if you could do that, but let's not break our eyeballs, is we're staring straight ahead for a minute and then slowly bring your awareness all the way around to almost like the back of your ears. With your mind and with like your peripheral vision. You're expanding your mind, you're opening up that pineal or pineal gland, whatever you want to call it, your third eye. And because you're focusing where your third eye really kind of sits in your head, you're opening up, you're expanding your awareness to include a lot more, meaning you can absorb a lot more. You can do this with a couple of deep belly breaths as well. So if you feel like I need to read my 10 pages of a book a day, but I am so on edge and so like go, go, go all the time, by the time I plonk into bed to read my book, I am either going to fall asleep straight away because I'm exhausted, or I'm still going and I don't know how to relax. So 10 deep belly breaths, maybe a short meditation. Listen to the Debbie prayer. That's one of my favorites on YouTube, DEVI. It's like a hymn. And get yourself into the right state to learn. You can do this anywhere. Then if you're actually reading a physical book, read your book with a highlighter and with a pretty notebook. So highlight the most important things. Highlight the most important thing, the main thing that is important in that chapter or paragraph, okay? You're not highlighting whole paragraphs, just the actual crux of the message. So that when you're skimming back through a book because there's something that you remembered that you need to apply, or you're like, oh, I need to go back over that and it's useful now, because sometimes we read things and we're like, okay, this might not apply to me right now, but I can imagine a situation where it will. Therefore, this is an important sentence for me to highlight. Okay, so do that, highlight or underline if you don't want to mess up your book. Just don't use a gel pen to underline because it can go through. Use your bookmark as the underliner, whatever. But having this open, having a notebook open while I read is so important. So I'm reading and I'm writing, and I'm reading and I'm writing. And I'm writing not whole sentences, but just little things that are either ideas coming to my mind because of what I've read, or the most important things. If you learn best by kinesthetic, perhaps it's good that you're writing instead of just highlighting. You're going, okay, yep. Maybe if it's a book that you've specifically picked that book up because it relates to something you need to learn, you need to apply right now, maybe there's answers to the questions that you have that you're actually writing. But don't overthink what you write. Just let it flow out. Write faster than your pen can keep up. Almost rampage write as you're reading, because you want to be deep in that work. You want to be deep in the learning and the reading to absorb it, but then you can come back to what you've actually written in your notebook afterwards. And then I always like to have a little section at the bottom of my page. Say I'm doing like 1 page of my notebook per chapter in my book, and I've written all these notes, and then at the bottom I've got a little section of 1, 2, 3 action points from that chapter. Does that make sense? I think that's really useful for learning something deep, learning something tangible, and then you go and action that. So before you just keep reading, you can keep reading if you want to, but then you're going to be doing a lot of notes. But before you get too carried away and you're like, I read 24 books this month, but I didn't learn a thing, I didn't absorb any of it, then come back to your notes and action. And after a week, perhaps come back to your notes and go, okay, so I actioned that and that and that, but I still have this and this to go. Maybe car park a few things. Okay, I'll come back to that later. That's something that I'm going to need at this time of the year or the month or my life, and put that in some kind of plan, okay? The other thing is, like, once you've gone to a conference or an event or a class, it's really important. So when I studied beauty a few years ago, like 2 years ago now, we were always learning something, theory, at the same time or straight after, or straight before, sorry, we did practical. And that's how a lot of like trades are learnt. But treat everything that you're learning like a trade. So whether it is, because it is really, everything we do is a service to either ourselves or to others. So how are you practicing that right then and there? How is the practical element coming into your life? The other thing that keeps personal development or self-development or spiritual development from being just a thing you do to something that actually moves you forward and changes your life is having the self-awareness. So sometimes it isn't about an external thing. It's not a book. It's not a podcast. It's nothing. It's you sitting down and either meditating or sitting down, if you don't like to call it meditation or you think you're not good at meditation, like obviously there's a blockage there that you need to overcome to think that you're not good at it, because you practice it and the art of practicing it is getting better at it, and builds that muscle just like everything else. But we all need quiet time and we all need thinking time. So get in nature or get in your bed, get comfortable, get quiet with yourself often, and really understand who you are. That is such an important part. Self-awareness is such an important part of personal development, so that you can present the best version of yourself. You can be resilient when things go wrong or challenges pop up or you make a mistake. I'm an empath, so I feel very guilt-ridden by certain things, and I feel deeply other people's emotions perhaps more than they do. So for me, personal development, spiritual development has a lot been about building resilience and protecting myself enough, but also staying open enough. So I really have to know myself, and knowing yourself changes as you grow through certain stages of your life. Like we all know that, like the coming of age as you become a teenager is a lot about like, oh, who am I, and getting to know yourself. But that's going to happen at 21, at 22, at 25, at 30. Like it just goes on and on and on. Whenever something in your life has changed or improved, or if you're doing a lot of actual reading and learning, you will be changing. So who are you? Know who you are, have that self-awareness, so that then you can move through life confidently. But also you can then begin to read other people and understand other people. We all watch movies, or I'm assuming we all watch movies, we all read things, we all consume things, we're all on Instagram. So we're seeing other people's lives. It's important that you start to read body language, verbal and non-verbal. So what people say, reading between the lines of sometimes what they say, but not too much, not overanalyzing. And these things, these skills of really understanding people will help you to better relate, build rapport, build relationships, network, and give people space. Like it will teach you when to speak and when to not speak, when to listen, when to walk away. And this is all about personal development. This is all about becoming the best version of you. So I've just touched on that. We're out of time. But I hope this has been useful. If there's more that you'd like to know, please drop your questions below and I might do a part 2 on this. But I will see you in my next video. Bye.